Gaming is pretty awesome, isn't it? As something that was once seen as an antisocial hobby for boys who couldn't be asked to play football like everyone else, is now a multi-million-dollar industry, a sport, and even something that your grandma can play. Whether it's passing the time playing Angry Birds while waiting for the bus, having your friends around for a bit of Call of Duty, Wii Sports, or even Just Dance, going on grand adventures in Skyrim, or competing in massive StarCraft tournaments, gaming is all around us and more relevant than ever. I could go on and on about why it has a significance in today's society despite what some tabloids might tell you, but individually, gaming can mean much more to us. It's sometimes a way of escaping through tough times, a way to relieve mental stress, and it can even be a significant part of our careers. So, let's find out how and why.
It's kind of strange because when I was a kid it was just this thing that I did. I don't know, as I grew up I just sort of fell into it more and more, and nowadays it's kind of like my most defining hobby, I guess. It's a thing that a lot of people just associate me with, and certainly when I think about myself, it's a big part of my identity that I spend a lot of time in virtual worlds playing games.
It's actually affected me in quite a big way, mainly because when I started gaming, I was actually in primary school, so I started from a young age, and I was quite badly bullied at school, so it was a quite nice escape for me. That I used kind of all throughout school when I was not having the greatest of times.
For me personally, it was very helpful. I can understand why it wouldn't be for some people. It always depends. You know, the thing I always say is, go to a doctor because it's not always very straightforward. But for me, whenever I'm kind of going through a hard time and things are stressful or I'm feeling down about something, kind of using video games as an escape, for me is very useful because I'm a kind of textbook overthinker, and so, kind of forcibly shutting off my brain so that I can just sort of delve into another world and escape for a while is kind of the perfect outlet for me.
I was really shy as a kid, really shy, and I think it wasn't helped by the fact that I was bullied a lot, so it did kind of help me sort of reduce into my own little cocoon and just game away. But then I actually kind of made friends with a lot of people who then realised that I was a gamer, and we would have never actually met, and this was during school, we'd never actually have met or hung out if we didn't have that thing in common. So it helped me in that way, and also because I sort of drew strength from a lot of game characters, so I sort of became a little bit more confident and out of my shell, and now I'm quite loud and leery.
It's also helped me because it's kind of helped me discover this other world of creativity that I didn't really know I had. And it's kind of the same thing with escaping through writing, whether it's about games or not. And now recently, obviously, with video work, kind of lets me pull myself into a feature and keep myself busy. And I know a lot of people who feel very similar, who use video games to experience another life. Not necessarily in a terrible way, but as a kind of coping method. And also people use it to meet people, especially socially awkward people. I've known a few who maybe they don't necessarily go out, but they've got lifelong friends that they've met on World of Warcraft or Dota or League of Legends. It's that kind of thing. It's a kind of a nice, it's escape, but not in a bad way.
You don't make friends without making a few enemies. As games grow rapidly, we've seen a fair share of scrutiny from news outlets and other form of media about their psychological effect, mostly from the assumption that games are for children. But do they actually have merit?
Whenever I come up against a story like that, it's when I did a degree in psychology, and that's like where it kicks in, because all I can see is terrible reporting. There are so many things wrong with psychological reporting studies, and there is no way in hell that anyone's going to devise the perfect experiment to actually figure out causality when it comes to video games, or even any other psychological phenomenon for that matter. It's so difficult to actually pinpoint the cause of anything. And with these papers, with the Daily Mail, the Sun, they like those clickbait headlines online. And so basically, it's kind of, you can always tell if something's got an agenda, if it's been sponsored. They never ever give a balanced view. They'll never ask a games journalist, a games developer, someone from the other side to counteract this. And it's infuriating, both from a journalistic standpoint and a scientific one. There's obviously some relationship. The mind is so complex, there's a relationship between everything, and it's so difficult to determine what is related to what.
Exaggeration is probably a good word. I think they're just trying to make up stories a little bit, because me and my friends have been playing this because I know a lot of people have been playing for like the past 20 years and we don't find ourselves addicted. I don't need that gaming fix. So it's a little bit strange, and I think the media can sometimes take something and run away with it and be like, oh look, it's bad for the children, but there's been several generations of kids that have grown up with games, like especially since the big boom in the 80s, that have just turned out completely fine.
As gaming has grown into the giant industry it is, it's definitely had an impact to general society, from Grand Theft Auto 5 rivaling big Hollywood movies, Minecraft capturing the hearts and minds of millions, and the new technologies that could change the landscape of gaming as we know it.
It's definitely become more mainstream. I think a lot more people are sort of accepting of the fact. I remember when I was a lot younger, people were just like, what is this gaming? What are you doing with your time sitting in front of this console? But now it's kind of become like a social norm and been accepted as a form of entertainment, just like film and TV. I think the impact on that on society is, I think it's been kind of good. It's just another form of entertainment. Sometimes there are some bad things that come of it, like arguments and the internet.
It's at this tipping point now with the advancements in the technology. I mean, you only need to look at things like Oculus and Morpheus to see just how it's kind of shaping the technological landscape, as wonky as that sounds. But gaming on society, I think it's wonderful. I think the rise of esports as well is a great thing. It's kind of taking that stereotypical view that gamers are just nerds who play alone in their bedrooms, and it's kind of showing the world that no, it's like a legitimate sport. And millions, I mean, the International had how many people viewing it? Like 20 million people? And it's just kind of insane, and it's sort of, it's not like this overwhelming thing that's so obvious and, you know, you're like, oh, this is definitely the impact that gaming's had. It's just like little things, like people using games like Portal in classes, I think is wonderful. The increase in game design courses, breaking down walls of sexism in the industry because of being a female gamer is so, what it's seen as socially acceptable. It's all this kind of, it's all these little things kind of joined together.
But yeah, in general, I think it's been good. I mean, having another form of entertainment, another industry out there has been definitely beneficial to the economy as well. And it's influenced sort of my life decisions, like my career and stuff. So I work in the games industry now, so it's been quite a big influence.
And in terms of significance, I find it fascinating, and it's a world and an industry that I spend pretty much all of my spare time and my working time in. And it's strange that a hobby I've had for so many years is now my job. That's also awesome, but it's very strange, and yeah, it's a massive part of my life.
I don't think it wouldn't be worse, but I would definitely be different, and I'm glad that gaming was there for me.